Mark, 4 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 3 minutes until airtime on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Mark, 3 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Your next time cue will come with 2 minutes until airtime on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Stations, if you encounter any technical issues related to this live show broadcast, please call our trouble hotline at 573-893-7477. Mark, 2 minutes until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studio producers, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Your next time cue will come with 1 minute until airtime for today's live show broadcast on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Stations, we are coming up on 1 minute until airtime. 1 minute in 5, 4, 3, 2, Mark. 1 minute, stations. 1 minute until airtime for this live show broadcast. Studios, when you hear, please start your archive recording. Coming up on 30 seconds until airtime, on my mark. Mark, 30 seconds. Your next and final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds. Have fun.
The following is a Learfield presentation of the Georgia Southern Sports Network. On the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield, presented by Morris Bank, this is Hail Southern Live. Live at Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Hot wings, cold beer, and good times. Coming up, your all-access pass into Georgia Southern athletics, including a visit with head football coach Clay Helton. Hail Southern Live is brought to you by Morris Bank. It pays to bank blue. Morris Bank, member FDIC. Eagle Nation Collective, the official NIL collective of Georgia Southern Athletics. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Please enjoy responsibly. Optum Orthopedics, your team, your community, your freedom. Optum Orthopedics, they're here for you. And by Savannah Hilton Head International Airport and and the Savannah Airport Commission. Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now let's head live inside Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Here's the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Eagle Nation, it is great to see you again. Back one more time at Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro for Hail Southern Live on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield. It is a big weekend for Georgia Southern football, starting a true homestand, back-to-back games at Paulson Stadium at Evans Family Field. And this weekend, we've got Tackling for a Cure. We've got Hall of Fame weekend. It's also the first ever whiteout as Georgia Southern is back in Sun Belt Conference play against the Marshall Thundering Herd, looking to pick up the first victory against Marshall since 1990. Late kick this weekend, nationally televised ESPNU, 8 p.m. start time from Statesboro. Cutwater Spirits Tailgate Show will start at 6 p.m. Eagles and the Herd in the 9th all-time meeting. If you have any questions or comments tonight, you can submit those on Facebook Live, or you can send us a tweet at GS Sports Network. Clay Helton will join us a little bit later on. We'll rehash the Georgia State victory from the week before and then talk about how the team dealt with the bye week. We'll also visit with cornerback Chance Gamble, who has interceptions in back-to-back games heading into the Marshall contest. But since Hall of Fame weekend is coming up this weekend, we may as well talk with somebody who's in 4 of them. Please welcome in Georgia Southern Athletic Hall of Famer Tracy Ham to Wild Wing Cafe.
This is really our first whiteout?
Well, the first true whiteout at home.
At home. Okay, that's interesting, because I think we had one at Georgia State one year.
Well, we had one here in 2020, but that was only because UMass didn't have their white uniforms, so we had to wear the white at home.
Well, bring your white, folks. It's whiteout weekend.
All right, now, before we launch into this, you have to tell everybody, outside of the Georgia Southern Hall of Fame, what are the other 3 Hall of Fames you're in?
Okay, what Hall of Fames I'm at? Georgia Southern, obviously. College Football Hall of Fame. The Georgia Hall of Fame, the State of Georgia Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And the Canadian Football Hall of Fame.
Now, the coincidence with you being in the Canadian Hall of Fame is that one of Marshall's quarterbacks, Stone Earle, you played with his dad and his uncle during your time as a member of Baltimore.
Yeah, the kid, his dad, he has a twin uncle, and both of them were my guards at Baltimore. We won the championship. Very good football players, good size, so it'd be interesting to see what kind of kid he had. He didn't have an old lineman, he had a quarterback. He got in the quarterback line.
Getting into the fact that this is Hall of Fame weekend, and this is something we only get to do every other year, 8 people are going to join the Georgia Southern Athletic Hall of Fame, and a ceremony held on Friday brings the total number up to 176, with the addition of Leonard Bevel, Caroline Bevillard, Matt Easterday, Darrell Hopkins, Andreas Koth, Jarek McKinnon, Kelly Mitchell-John, and we'll also speak with the family of the late Mike Sanders. As someone who is in the Hall of Fame, how can you speak to the honor of what this means for an Eagle?
Well, it's such a special occasion because once you're inducted into the Hall of Fame, there's so many people involved. You're just the recipient of the award, but like there were so many people that contributed to my success and my numbers going into the Hall of Fame that I'm in. It's never an individual. The individual get the award, but it's so many things that have to go right. So many people that have to be engaged with you, and so it's such a special time because you want to really honor the people who help you get to that point in your career, and so you want to thank everybody. You don't never have enough time to do all the thinking, and then you always forget somebody, and so in the green room, you always have to say, "Oh man, I forgot to say thank you to whoever."
You were in one of the first Hall of Fame classes when it was reinstituted. You were put in back in 1992. So as you've seen people added more and more over the years, how does that bring back even more memories about how special it is to be a part of all this?
Well, I'm just so happy for the people who put the work in, and as a Hall of Famer, you understand what the workload it took to get there. You understand the effort, the sacrifices, and so once you understand that, you really have a great appreciation for those who are going in after you because it's such a special honor and such a for your family, not only for your family, but if you have kids and your kids get to come back to your campus and be honored with you. So it's a family affair.
In addition to being as heralded as you are in a number of different areas, you've been back working on campus for a number of years. You get a chance to work directly with roughly 450 student athletes about your experiences and how you can make theirs better. But in what specific way do you provide the biggest value to what a current student athlete means?
Well, I think, it's such a different time now than when I was a student athlete, and things have changed. But I think the one thing that's consistent is your college experience, that it should be fun. I mean, you should have a fun college experience. It shouldn't not be fun. I think when I look back over my time here at Georgia Southern, I had the time of my life in college. And you don't ever want kids to forget, student athletes forget that college is a fun, experimental place where you experiment a lot of different things. And so you want to give them that leeway. Obviously, you want borders around them, keep some borders up for them, but ultimately you want them to have fun with their experience in college.
Now, if you had NIL, would you have been an Archibald's guy? Would you have been a Time Saver guy? Would you have been a Snookies guy? What would you have been in your? What would have been your NIL?
Wild Wing Cafe guy.
We just see Pishon Wembley and Caleb Cook, two Georgia Southern offensive linemen, walk by as we talk with Tracy Ham. We'll get going with head coach Clay Helton and Chance Gamble a little bit later on. But the talk of the season coming into 2024 was about who was going to play quarterback for Georgia Southern. J.C. French wins the job on August the 20th. He has had an outstanding first 5 games. You played the position. What do you notice about the way that he has taken hold of that room?
Well, I think you have to go back through the process. I thought Coach Helton and his staff had a heck of a process to determine, first of all, who was going to be the starting quarterback. And all those that were in it competed their butt off. And I think you really enjoy watching the competition. But now that they've settled in and JC's the starter, I think JC has done just a fabulous job of taking care of the ball. I think that's one of the first things you look at as a quarterback. Do you take care of the ball? I mean, and he's done a great job. I thought the O-line has done a really good job of being able to run the ball and help protect him some. But ultimately, Coach Helton and his staff made the right decision on who the starter is. And, the process, if you just stick with the process, it always worked. They didn't listen to all the noise. They kind of stuck with the process, and JC came out, and it's been true to form that he's been the right guy, and he's done an excellent job for us.
How do you strike the balance as a quarterback between protecting the football but making plays when they're there?
Well, I always believe this according to where you are in the game. Like in some games where if you're down, you have to take more risks, and then other games you don't have to take the risks. And I think JC's done a really good job of knowing when to take a risk and when not to, and so it ultimately comes down to where we are at in the game and what we need, and do we need more risk throws, high risk throws, and he's been really good at minimizing the high risk throws.
How much more challenging do you think it is to not play quarterback but to be a quarterback nowadays?
Well, I think playing quarterback and being a quarterback is obviously two different things, because I think now JC's in a position where he can quarterback the team because he's not competing. He can relax and quarterback his team. He can understand, put people in places and not worry about whether he make a throw or miss a throw.
Sure.
So being a quarterback means just understanding the game, understanding where we are. Is our defense playing well? Are we getting turnovers? What's the weather conditions? So all those things go into your thought process as you get ready to try and go win a football game, which is one of the hardest things to do, is to win a football game.
Eagle Football Alumni Association is also going to be hosting a reunion for the 2014, their 20-year anniversary, for a squad that went back to the 1AA playoffs that year. As a member of the EFAA, when you see all of those teams come back, it's been 84, it's been 94, we're going to have 14 a little bit later on this year. How cool is that?
Well, it's really cool because you get guys to come back and see the growth of the institution. They get to come see a good football team. Coach Helton has been very welcoming to all the former players. I think that's always important, is the connection between the current and the former players. And we've just felt real comfortable with the staff and being able to contribute as a former group of giving back to the program.
Circle it back around to the Hall of Fame for just another moment before we take our first time out. Do you remember when you found out that you were going in the Georgia Southern Hall of Fame?
No, the only one I really remember is the college one. Well, because I was home by myself, and it was one of them aha moments, like, wow. So I was home by myself, and I got the call, and I just sat there for a moment and started thinking about who I need to thank for me getting to this position.
Get the speech going.
I just get started writing my speech. So, but no, it was just one of them unsurreal moments, because when you think about little old Georgia Southern and somebody from Georgia Southern going up against all the different institutions out there, and we were able to make a mark and our name known. So it was more than about me. It was more about us as an institution, me as one of the players on the team of the 80s, and really just want to represent Georgia Southern and our community well.
One of 3 Eagles enshrined in the College Football Hall of Fame. The Georgia Southern Athletics Hall of Fame is going to add 8 new members in a banquet held on Friday night, part of Hall of Fame weekend, as Eagle Football welcomes Marshall at 8 o'clock on Saturday. We'll be on at 6 p.m. from Paulson Stadium. Tracy, always enjoy the visit. Thanks for giving us some time tonight.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Dan. And shout out to Kendra and Ashton from the president's office. They made me do that, so I had to do it.
Oh, they made you do it.
They made me do it.
I thought you was going to tell you that Terry made you do it.
No, Terry just got dinner tonight, so he's good.
Tracy, thanks a lot, man.
My pleasure, Dan.
That's the Hall of Famer, Tracy Ham. We'll come back from this time out with head coach Clay Helton talking Eagles versus Georgia State, then Eagles versus Marshall. That's next from Wild Wing. This is Hail Southern Live, powered by Learfield.
When it comes to your heating and cooling needs, don't sacrifice your comfort. Ogeechee Heating and Air has served Southeast Georgia and surrounding communities for more than 15 years. With more than 35 years of industry experience, these licensed and insured heating contractors have the experience and know-how to get your HVAC job done right the first time. Whether you're selecting a new heating or cooling system, repairing an existing system, or you just want lower energy bills and a healthier home, Ogeechee Heating and Air has the service and expertise you're looking for. Call today, 912-739-4035.
BBWH Insurers, owned and operated by Georgia Southern alumni, has been serving Southeast Georgia since 1888. Our partnerships with quality A-rated carriers such as Central Mutual Insurance Companies provide affordable and comprehensive coverage for your family and business. BBWH Insurers protects and supports our own. That's our true blue promise to you. Call me, Brad Powell, at 912-764-9602 or visit us online at bbwhins.com and go Eagles.
When someone says the word bank, what comes to mind? For most folks, it's probably dollar bills, loans, or safe deposit boxes. But these are all just things. Our bank is a collection of stories. At Morris Bank, it's the stories of relationships through the years. Stories of working hard to save for your first home or starting your own business. Stories where the hero is you. We just have a front row seat to your story, and we can't wait to see what you do next. Morris Bank, season presenting sponsor of Georgia Southern Football, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey Eagle Nation, it's Stacy Underwood from Uncle Shook's Barbecue Place. We are proud to be a sponsor of the Georgia Southern football team again this year. Remember, game day isn't complete without some of our delicious barbecue. Load up on all your Uncle Shook's favorites for your tailgate. Barbecue pork, smoked chicken, chicken fingers, macaroni and cheese, or any of our other delicious sides. To place an order, call 912-681-7484 or order online, uncleshooks.com. Go Eagles!
Pioneer Design and Marketing is the official marketing partner of Georgia Southern Athletics. Serving clients locally and globally, Pioneer is a design and digital marketing studio helping courageous brands stake their claim in crowded markets. From logos to websites to digital marketing strategies, these proud Georgia Southern alumni will get the right message in front of the right people to help you gain new ground. Pioneer Design and Marketing, building brands that gain new ground. Find them online at madebypioneer.com.
Since 1945, the SAC Company has established its reputation by safely providing high-quality construction services. The SAC Company consistently demonstrates the highest level of professionalism, safety, and attention to details. Their hands-on experience in all phases of construction assure that you will get quality performance in a timely and cost-effective method. Accountability, care, excellence, innovation, integrity, safety, teamwork. The SAC Company. We bring business to life.
On game day, success starts with a great game plan. No matter if you're at home or on the road, greatness starts here with the Ford F-150 truck, delivering a rare combination of power and smart technology like the available class exclusive Pro Power onboard. Ford F-150 helps make great things possible. See your local Ford dealer and score a great offer on F-150. See owner's manual for important operating instructions. Class is full-size pickups number 8,500 pounds, GVWR.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. You've got beer and football, nothing is hard, until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024, Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
French fakes to White, looks right, two-man round, caught at the goal line. How about Josh Dallas? Wings up, Eagle Nation. Touchdown, Georgia Southern. Ryan Applin just called a flawless drive, and it's the first career receiving score for Josh Dallas. 6-0 Eagles, 6:21 left in the first. One of the best moments from the Saturday before up in Atlanta. Georgia Southern wins the first ever Georgia Grown Bowl, taking down Georgia State 38-21. They now have possession of the Commissioner's Cup. They are 3-2 overall, 1-0 in conference play. They'll get Marshall at Paulson this Saturday, 8 o'clock kickoff, a little bit of a later one on ESPNU. Family weekend, Hall of Fame weekend. It's also tackling for a cure. Before we talk a little bit more Eagle football, those of us inside Wild Wing Cafe, we need to wish a happy birthday. Number 27 to former Eagle tight end Cam Brown. Give it up for Cam. Now working on the Learfield side is the manager of business development for Georgia Southern Sports Properties. We go from a quarterback in Tracy Ham to a highlight of a quarterback in J.C. French to a former quarterback as well. Eagle Nation, give it up for head coach Clay Helton at Wild Wing Cafe on Hail Southern Live.
Thank you, guys.
How was your bye week?
It was great. Let's start off. How do you follow Tracy Ham? Is that unbelievable to have him out there?
You're going to have to try.
I know, but I tell you what, to have the honor to work with that guy every day, him to be around our players, him and Adrian Peterson, just to have those type of examples in young men's lives is pretty special. But, yeah, bye week was great. I tell you what, it was a great opportunity, kind of get refreshed mentally for all of us. There was so much mental adversity going into that Georgia State week, obviously with Hurricane Helene, what was going on with our families, our own community, the state of Georgia, North Carolina, everybody that was affected, to go and get that win on the road and then just to have a second to take a deep breath. I think it was nice for our staff. It was nice for our players. Got a lot done. We're able to check our tendencies out, kind of self-scout ourselves, get ahead on Marshall, have a chance to work some fundamental and technique growth with some younger players, of growing them up, guys that we'll need in November. So overall, a very productive week and a refreshing week.
It came up a couple of times earlier today. I don't know if I'll ever forget what that travel was like going up to Atlanta, trying to go through all of those trees on 16. It took about 5 hours or so when it should have taken 2.5 to 3. But the fact that you could get that program up there safely and give people that were struggling just a little bit of time to say, hey, life can go on, I think that we'll remember that for all the right reasons.
Yeah, it was a humbling experience. It put your priorities back in order, really, for all of us. We're so ingrained on worried about the game day in and day out, and then all of a sudden that happens, and you say, wow, this is life.
Yeah.
And for a group of young men to go up and have that going on, have a bunch of distractions around them, really focus on their football team and their job, and to provide some entertainment and to provide a good outing was awful nice to see.
And then the quality of the performance, 498 yards of total offense, 261 on the ground, 237 through the air, 39 minutes, 10 seconds time of possession. You had that drive of 7:27 that finished the game, second time this season that a fourth quarter drive clinched a victory, but also defensively, giving up just 29 yards rushing and picking off 3 passes.
Yeah, it was a great overall team performance. I thought we had great team balance on offense, being able to rush for 261 and being able to be efficient in the passing game, spreading around to 8 different receivers. Josh Dallas has his biggest day, had some really advantage coverages. Once, Jalen and OJ started rolling, that opened up the middle for us and some seams, and we were able to be able to find. And then defensively, I can't credit Coach Bailey and the defense enough. 11 drive stops. Our goal was 9. They get 11 drive stops, 3 turnovers, 6 3-and-outs on the days. It was one of those that you look up and we were hitting on all cylinders. Had a spurt there right at the beginning of the third quarter. We put on a clinic on how to let a team back in, and then put a clinic on, hey, being able, it's not what happens to you, it's how you react. And I loved our team's reaction. When it got to 1 score, they came right back, made it 2 score, and then get a big turnover by chance, and then have that 7-minute plus drive to really make it a 3-score game and separate.
We're going to have Chance on in a little bit here from Wild Wing in this week's edition of Hail Southern Live. But as part of that large time of possession number, that's by far the most that you've had it since you've been here, most since 2020. Jalen has both of his touchdowns after halftime, but you have drives of 98 yards and 96 yards. This offense, you get in the frame of mind that it's all about the big plays. It's about striking quickly, air raid. It just makes you think that way. So being able to show that element of the offense where you can put together drives like that is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was really important for us. I thought that we played our best ball on both sides of the ball on third down. You know, you're 57% offensively on third down, and then you look up and you're 27% for Georgia State efficiency on third down. Defense got off the field and presented opportunities for the offense. That gives you 88 plays of offense, 39 minutes of football. And if you give that much time to our kids, they're going to put points on the board, and proud for them of their execution.
Two more things before we hit our next timeout with the defense forcing 3 interceptions. You have now forced a turnover in all 5 games this year. That's the longest streak since 2020. It had been 1 each the first 4, but to get those in bunches, is it just a spot where you need to be in the right position, or is it more being able to create an opportunity and then be there for it?
Well, it was our first time to meet our goal. Our goal is always get 3. Yeah. Get 3 turnovers per game. That'll make you an elite standard. You know, we got 3 in this game, and that creates a separation. We're +2 on the turnover margin right now after 5 games. Yep. You know, doing a great job of being able to secure the football offensively, and that's a big change. You know, that type of being able to play great third down offense and defense and being able to protect the ball while getting turnovers is your way to go 1-0 each week. And we've been able to accomplish that over the first 5 games. Need to continue it as we get into conference play.
The highlight was Josh Dallas. You bring up Josh Dallas. He was targeted 14 times on Saturday, 9 catches, 89 yards. 5 of those went for first downs on third downs, but the one that people will remember is him breaking every tackle imaginable on that 9-yard catch in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, we always talk about you never know when your opportunity is going to come, and all of a sudden, you know, he was more involved in the game plan, and then Dalen, you know, gets a shoulder ding and is out of the game, and now he's having to double up in 2 different personnel groups. Now you're really getting targeted, and he got the opportunity to go ahead and make some big plays in that game. Really proud for him. He's a guy that works daily, probably our best work ethic guy on the entire football team, respected by the whole football team. And you could just see the celebration after that first touchdown, and you could see the whole sideline light up when he made that run. That's just who he is, and really was the statement of the game about how we approach the game with great work ethic, great attitude, great effort, and great toughness, and he emulated that on that play.
It's amazing how good has a way of finding certain people.
Yeah, definitely. One of the best. Not only one of the best players on the team, one of the best men on our football team. And he's an example of what each Eagle should be.
Hail Southern Live is brought to you in part this year by our friends at Georgia Power. Georgia Power, a Southern company. More with head coach Clay Helton from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro after this timeout on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
Your cargo transportation choice in Savannah and the Southeast. For freight management, consolidation, warehousing, and more, including flexible and responsive drayage solutions. Your success is our final destination. Savannah Logistics Group.
A logistics company that strives to deliver the best drivers, employees, and customer experience through our core values of empowerment, innovation, and consistency. Savannah Logistics Group, a proud supporter of Georgia Southern Athletics.
Eagle Nation, this is Kennedy Finch, the Executive Director of the Eagle Nation Collective. Your passion fuels our pride, and we're looking to add to our roster at the Eagle Nation Collective. For as little as $1 a day, you can help our athletes train harder, play smarter, and create those championship moments. We want to see 2,000 new members by the end of the season, and Eagle Nation, we need you to help us get there. Together, let's soar higher than ever before. Visit EagleNationNIL.com to join the Eagle Nation Collective today.
College sports fans now have access to hundreds of weekly podcasts that zero in on the college sports world. Now available in the Varsity Podcast Network and part of the new Varsity app. The app is free and available from wherever you get your favorite apps. Download the Varsity app today to have access to hundreds of national podcasts as well as your favorite team-focused podcasts. The Varsity Podcast Network, now available for free on the Varsity app. Download from the App Store and listen today.
A true teammate takes on every day with a winner's attitude. gets up when they fall down, and leaves it all on the field. There's a group of teammates who do all these things every single day. But they're more than your typical athlete. They're kids dealing with unthinkable medical circumstances. Team Impact matches children facing serious illness or disability with college sports teams, creating a long-term, life-changing experience for everyone involved. Help us get all kids in the game. Visit teamimpact.org. Team Impact. All in, all together.
The power of Paulson is real, and Eagle Nation, you make the difference. Get your tickets now at 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. It's Tackling for a Cure and Hall of Fame weekend as the Eagles host Marshall Saturday, October 12th at 8 p.m. Wear your blue and white proudly as we promote cancer awareness and honor the 2024 Athletics Hall of Fame class. Saturday, October 12th, Georgia Southern against Marshall. 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets.
What's up, fans? This is Roddy Jones, co-host of College Sports Now. We're breaking down all the action from around the country weekly during the football season. We'll look beyond the box score and keep our finger on the pulse of college football from September all the way to the national championship game in January, from the East Coast to the West Coast. Listen all season long on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you love to get your podcast. And while you're at it, be sure to give us a follow along on Twitter at CSNowTweets.
Powered by Learfield. Welcome back to Hale's Southern Live, presented by Morris Bank. Make sure to tweet your questions to @GS Sports Network. Now, let's return live to Wild Wing Cafe. Once again, here's the voice of the Eagles, Danny Reed.
Hail Southern Live continues from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro, brought to you this week and each week by our friends at Core Credit Union, talking a little bit about the victory over Georgia State from the Saturday before, 38-21, the final up in Atlanta. Marshall coming up this weekend. Hall of Fame weekend, Tackling for a Cure, the first ever organized whiteout 8 o'clock kick against the Thundering Herd. Will be live at 6 p.m. with the Cutwater Spirits Tailgate Show. Coach, you never know what it's going to feel like when you get to the bye week. We talked about this earlier on Inside Georgia Southern Football. You get 2 of them this year because of the way the calendar falls, but everything that happened towards the end of the week and everything that everybody was dealing with, the fact that you got last week off, I don't know if it could have timed up any better.
Well, especially with what went on in college football last week. I don't know if anybody wanted to be a football coach last Saturday. You see number 1, number 4, number 9, number 10, number 11, number 22, go down. Shows the parity of college football nowadays. It shows the need for the 12-team college playoff that anybody can win on any given day, and you have to bring your A game. That's what college football is all about, and we learned that lesson last weekend. I'm very appreciative not to be caught up in that gunfire last week that happened.
When you're in a league like the Sun Belt that has not only gotten to be a point where it's one of the best, if not the best group of 5 leagues, but wherever you go, whomever you're playing, I mean, Paulson Stadium is one of the toughest places to play, but with as tough as this league is, week in and week out, it's a continual emphasizing point that you have to be on because somebody will if you're not.
Yeah, no question. When you look at this league and you've looked at it over my first 2 years here, you've got there's 8 in the first 2 years, 8 Power 4 wins that this league has accomplished. I think you've already seen, 3 more this year. And so, in 12 bowl teams last year, which was the most by any conference. So amazing. From top to bottom, you just have really strong teams that can play at a high level, that are hard places to play at. You saw that with JMU going down to a talented ULM team last week. But I know this, if you do not bring the right mindset into a Sun Belt Conference game, I can promise you're getting your butt beat.
Playing at Paulson Stadium has a way of getting this team and this program in the right mindset. You wouldn't need to have anything special because Paulson Stadium in and of itself is a special experience. But when you combine Hall of Fame weekend, Tackling for a Cure, the first ever whiteout, this is going to be a spectacle.
Yeah, definitely. What I've appreciated my first 2 years here is Dr. Camarero and our athletic director, Jared Benko. They provide great college experiences, game day experiences for not only our fans, our alumni, but our students. There's a reason that you have the highest freshman class. in the history of the school. And you see in the admissions skyrocket while other schools are deteriorating. You're looking at a skyrocket right now. And the reason being it's a great college experience. They provide great game day experiences that people want to be at. And here's another example. I have the first ever whiteout night game. It gets on national TV at 8 p.m. at night. I can't wait for it. It gives me goosebumps, even as a guy that's been doing it for 3 decades. So, and to do it at Paulson Stadium in front of our alumni and fans and students, man, just absolutely going to be a special night.
You've coached in every atmosphere at Paulson in 2+ seasons, but how much of an extra sizzle is there when it's at night?
I tell you, when you get at night and there's been a day of tailgating, and it's leading up and it's building up, and then those lights turn on, and you feel just the energy of our students, you feel the energy of our fans. It's a special thing. It's hard for me to explain to other folks. They said, Coach, what is it like? I said, it's as passionate as any college experience that's out there. Are there bigger stadiums? Yeah. We just happen to be the prettiest littlest one, and the most energized and the most passionate, And when you get out there and you get to play in it, man, you just feel it. I remember Coach Stilfer last year at UAB. We get done with that game and hearing his comments about, gosh, that was an unbelievable college experience. And it is. For anybody that walks in there, you're coming into a great venue and a great game day experience.
Saw your family made it into town safely as well.
Yeah, it was great to have Mom and Dad come up a little bit early with the storm, with the Hurricane Milton coming up. A lot of people evacuating Florida, and thank goodness I talked them into coming up a little bit early for the game and getting up here with us while that goes through. God bless everybody that's down in my birth state of Florida, and hoping everybody's going to be okay through this.
He has 5 decades worth of football experience, college, pro, Canada. When he has a chance to speak, I know he's an offensive line guy. You said, I'm the son of an old O-line coach, but when he gets a chance to talk with your offensive linemen, a lot of them are here tonight having dinner. How do you see them accept the message of someone that's been in it for so long and seen so much?
Well, I've always believed, and my dad's taught me this, we're in the trust relationship business. You build trust, you build relationships, and kids will run through walls for you. And that's what he does. And he brings so much knowledge and so much relatability with that offensive line, having done it for 5 decades, having done it at the highest level, have put that, there's men with the yellow Hall of Fame jackets that he's coached. There's about a dozen of them. So to be able to have that reputation and that resume and being able to share that knowledge, we always say to be coached is be loved. And he loves to coach the offensive line, loves to coach tight ends and the running backs and provide them information and knowledge, and our coaches. Coaches are coaches. So he's been a great asset for me for 30 years. He's been the best dad and a best example of a husband and father I can possibly imagine. And he's the reason I'm here today.
You told me a couple of years ago that at one time you wanted to get into mechanical engineering, you wanted to build bridges, but it ultimately became where you were going to be a coach. How did this profession choose you? Just being around him and see how many lives he affected and see how coaches affected my life, growing up. I studied for, in mechanical engineering, and that was always an avenue if I chose it. But at the end of the day, when a door opened at Duke University with Fred Goldsmith and having the opportunity to follow my dad's footsteps and being a part of what I saw, how many lives he changed and how many relationships he built, I said, man, what an amazing ride. Yeah. I may make more money in engineering, but I won't be as happy. And I chose the path of joy and the path of love. It's doing something you love, and he taught me that. Chance Gamble's coming up next. If you would, give us a little bit on Chance before we have him up here. I'm going to tell you what an unbelievable addition to our football team. For sure. To have somebody come in that just has his type of work ethic, puts the team above himself, does just absolutely is a student of the game, and he puts himself in positions to make plays, just like you've seen, in the past couple of games, coming up with some big turnovers. That was a huge point in the game. I mean, it's two-score game. They're driving down to try to make it a one-score game, and he makes that pick that allows us to get the ball back and then make that long drive to kind of make the true separation to
to end the game. That's what great players do. That when it's the most critical time, they come up with a play, and that's what he's done for our football team.
We just spoke about him. We're going to speak with him after this timeout. Cornerback Chance Gamble will join us from Wild Wing Cafe as Hail Southern Live continues. You're listening to Georgia Southern Football, powered by Learfield.
Some days you hit snooze, but not today. Today you have to go on a run to get burgers for the tailgate. You've got to haul something heavy, a cooler stocked with Bud Light. When you've got beer and football, nothing is hard, until the other team scores. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. 21 plus, copyright 2024, Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Since 1945, the SAC Company has established its reputation by safely providing high-quality construction services. The SAC Company consistently demonstrates the highest level of professionalism, safety, and attention to details. Their hands-on experience in all phases of construction assure that you will get quality performance in a timely and cost-effective method. Accountability, care, excellence, innovation, integrity, safety, teamwork. The SAC Company. We bring business to life.
Eagle Nation, this is William Martin from Southern Exchange Company. We're proud to always bring you the best selection of Georgia Southern gear for game day and every day. Make sure to stop by and visit us at our store across from campus on Chandler Road or online at southernexchangecompany.com. Follow Southern Exchange on social media at SXC Statesboro for the latest gear in stock. Southern Exchange Company, the official merchandiser of Georgia Southern Athletics.
Don't let an injury keep you on the sidelines. So go where the pros go. Optum Orthopedics. They're the official orthopedics and team physicians for Georgia Southern Athletics. Thanks to Optum, our Eagles get the best care on and off the field. The good news is that Optum is here for you too. Located in our community, Optum is the leader in advanced orthopedic care throughout the Southeast. Like the Eagles, you deserve the freedom to soar. With Optum's fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, you will. Your team, your community, your freedom. Optum Orthopedics, they're here for you.
Did you know that Yancey Rents is a Georgia-owned rental company serving Georgia since 1914? Yancey Rents has excavators, dozers, backhoe loaders, small dump trucks, water trucks, concrete saws, light towers, scissor lifts, and so much more. We've got a huge selection of equipment ready to be rented today. Call 844-YNC-RENT or check us out at yanceyrents.com. With 16 locations around the state and a new expanded lineup of equipment ready to be rented right now, Yancey Rents wants to be your preferred rental supplier in Georgia.
I love watching my child grow through football, learning values and life skills that extend beyond the playing field. Now, there are more ways to play than ever before, from flag to tackle and beyond, with opportunities for boys and girls at any age. To find the right team, explore FutureForFootball.com's new league locator tool and explore nearby leagues. It's never been easier to get your family involved in the game.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
The power of Paulson is real, and Eagle Nation, you make the difference. Get your tickets now at 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets. It's homecoming at Paulson Stadium at Evans Family Field, Saturday, October 19th, as the Eagles host JMU at 4 o'clock. One more time for the blue and white as the Eagles face the Dukes for a leg up in the Sun Belt's East Division. Join us for homecoming Saturday, October 19th at 4 o'clock. Call 1-800-GSU-WINS or visit gseagles.com/tickets.
There, shot deep, right sideline. Hurts goes out of bounds. Was that pitch inbounds? Come on, yes, intercepted Chance Gamble. What a play by Gamble. Back-to-back games with an INT. He has a nose for the football. As Hail Southern Live continues from Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Submit your request to Marshall Thundering Herd during our final segment as Marshall comes down for the second time in 3 years, looking to extend that winning streak over Georgia Southern to 7 games, dating back to 1990. But We're talking about Georgia Southern defense. Please welcome cornerback Chance Gamble, the pride of Fitzgerald, to Wild Wing Cafe. Terry always has to make sure that people know you're from Fitzgerald. He says it every game.
Yeah, Mr. Terry always gives me a hard time about being from Fitzgerald. So
what's it like being from Fitzgerald and now playing at the school that you wanted to play at?
That's super special. You know, a lot of people back home are big Georgia Southern fans, so being able to represent, you know, the hometown while I'm here, extremely important to not only me but to them people as well.
You're following a legacy, guys like Benny Cunningham, Joe Scott, one of the top tacklers in school history, and now you. Following those guys, what does that mean?
It means so much. I got one of my dad's friends back home, Mr. Hal Wiley. He told me that he owns the one bar in Fitzgerald. He was like, I'm going to get a Chance Gamble jersey and put it up in the bar. So just little things like that, you know, mean so much to me.
You got to make sure you sign it, though.
That's right.
Being here since the spring, getting into the starting lineup, and making plays pretty much on a game-by-game basis, how do you put yourself in the right spot to do it?
You know, I just got to shout out Coach Bailey first for, you know, putting us in the right calls, putting me in position to make plays, and then, you know, the D-line as well. When they're getting so much pressure on the quarterback, you know, it forces him to sometimes just throw the ball up and, you know, allow me to make a play. But other than that, you know, just preparing every week, watching film, just being where my feet are and trying to make a presence every game.
That particular interception that we just heard, it was in the fourth quarter last Saturday against Georgia State. It was a 10-point game at that point. They were starting to rally a little bit. Walk us through that play as you stepped in front of Hurst.
Well, we were playing just an off-man coverage, and he ran just a simple fade on me. And, you know, I was chest-to-chest with him. I honestly didn't think that the quarterback was going to throw the ball, and he did. So I stayed chest-to-chest, located the ball, and it kind of just fell into my lap.
Did you know that you were in bounds, or did you look down and make sure, oh, I am in bounds?
Well, Mark Stamp, you know, he let me know that I was in bounds pretty quick.
You had the pick as well the week before against Ole Miss, against Jackson Dart, a guy that a lot of people think is going to be a Heisman candidate. Coming up with a play like that on a stage like that, how cool was that?
It was an extremely cool experience for me, you know, to be on that stage and make a play like that. You know, it's tough that we couldn't pull out the win. You know, that's the most important thing to me is winning. So, and we were late in the game and we were down, but yeah, just being able to do that was a cool experience.
You were able to come to Statesboro for not just this year, but you're going to have next year should you choose to stay at Georgia Southern. But having that 4-game redshirt year last year, how challenging was that to make that decision, but to do so for your future?
It was extremely challenging, mentally more than physically. Just, you know, seeing your teammates out there playing and, you know, you're not playing, and having to do scout team throughout the week was something that I never did, even as a freshman. So that was a challenge for me for sure. But, you know, in the long run, looking back at it now, I'm so grateful that, you know, they allowed me to do that while I was at Kennesaw State. And, you know, I'm glad that I have an extra year.
It's not just you coming down, but DeAndre came with you. Coach Safford came with you. So it's the Owls becoming Eagles. Having those two to share this experience with, how would you describe that?
It's made the transition over a lot more simple. And, you know, Coach Safford, he's been my coach my whole college career. So knowing what he expects week in and week out, you know, I was able to kind of relay that message down to some of our guys here. And, you know, it made the transition easier for them as well. And, you know, DeAndre, you know, we came in together at Kennesaw State.
Yeah.
Been tight since day one. So being able to play on the field with him here as well, you know, is super important to me, and I'm grateful for that.
Had a chance to just talk with Coach Helton about his father. You played for your dad when you were coming up. He's now the principal at Fitzgerald. When you get to see another side of your dad as a coach in addition to your father, how did you manage that?
Well, he was always toughest on me. So, you know, being out there on the field with him and him coaching me up, it's an experience like no other. He always stayed on me the hardest out of anybody. You know, sometimes people say your dad's the coach. You know what I'm saying? You got favorites, all this and that, but not with my dad. You know, he always kept me honest, kept me humble, and I'm grateful for that.
When did you realize that tough love was a good thing?
Early. You know, I was always around the football team, water boy, and, you know, I learned it early, day one.
You have your Eagle Nation Collective polo on tonight for those that just have this tuned in either on Eagle 94.9 or the Varsity Network app. So you're benefiting from name, image, and likeness, the work that the collective is doing with Leonard Bevel, with Kennedy Finch. How would you describe the support that you receive?
Oh, man, it's like no other. Being able to just, get some funds and support not only me while I'm at college, but my family back home, super, super grateful for that. A lot of people can't say the same at other universities, and that's what makes this place so special.
You were sold on how special Eagle Nation is, but being here and feeling it, how would you describe that to someone?
Like a feeling like no other. The environment, like I just told Miss Angela, it's like no other. Like when you step into Paulson on a Saturday, the fans are going crazy. Georgia Southern, like that's something that I never experienced.
Careful, you're going to get them going now.
Yeah, it gives me chills every time I hear it. So,
also a hooper in high school. Where would you rank as far as guys that play basketball on the team?
Oh, I'm not going to be too cocky here.
Okay.
I'll probably give myself a top 10 rating on the team.
All right. Can you rank some of the other guys that are really good basketball players?
Well, I haven't been able to get on the court with any of them yet because I got here, in January, and we were full go from there on. But I've heard Dalen Cobb's pretty good. That's really all I've heard is good. So, I might put myself in the top 5.
Okay. That changed pretty fast. So instead of being on the team, you're on the starting lineup.
Yeah, I'm on the starting lineup for sure.
One thing I wanted to make sure we made apparent to Eagle Nation before we finish up, it's not just you handle your business on the field, you handle your business in the classroom, you got a 4.0 during the spring. Going to a new place, how did you deal with not just managing expectations, but making sure schoolwork was taken care of so football could just be the next thing?
But that was always number one in my household growing up. Both of my parents being educators, If you didn't come home with A's on your report card, then you were getting a spanking pretty much. But, so it was the same standard that I held myself to once I got to college, being able to make good grades and stay on Hope Scholarship, little things like that just were important to me. And I want to continue to play good football and make good grades.
We talked about this with Coach just a minute ago, but every game at Paulson is special regardless of what the promotion is, but it just so happens the first ever whiteout is this Saturday night against Marshall. How much more does that add to this?
Oh, a night game too is, night games, you can't compare it to anything else, So, the fact that it's a whiteout now and a night game, just brings everything together. It's going to be a super cool experience, and I can't wait.
How about let's do 2 things on Saturday. 1, you get a pick for your 3rd straight game, and number 2, the Eagles get the win.
Heck yeah, sounds good to me.
That sound good?
It sounds great.
Eagle fans, that sound good to you? Chance, appreciate the time. Thank you very much. That's quarterback Chance Gamble, the former Fitzgerald Purple Hurricane. We'll talk with Coach Helton one more time after the timeout. We'll talk about Marshall, and they come to Statesboro. Game number 2 in conference play. This is Hail Southern Live, powered by Learfield.
When it comes to your heating and cooling needs, don't sacrifice your comfort. Ogeechee Heating and Air has served Southeast Georgia and surrounding communities for more than 15 years. With more than 35 years of industry experience, these licensed and insured heating contractors have the experience and know-how to get your HVAC job done right the first time. Whether you're selecting a new heating or cooling system, repairing an existing system, or you just want lower energy bills and a healthier home, Ogeechee Heating and Air has the service and expertise you're looking for. Call today, 912-739-4035.
Hey, Eagle fans, the 2024 football season is here, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all the action. SeatGeek makes it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all the touchdown celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Georgia Southern football games or to any other live event in your area, SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official ticket marketplace of the Georgia Southern Eagles. The most disruptive idea in ticketing? A ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek.
Yellowwood knows that a 5-star backyard is the place to make lasting memories. Like cookouts. Cornhole with friends. Ooh, a neighborhood potluck with your wife's pasta salad. The one with the feta. Oh, sorry. Or taking a nap on your deck in a hammock. Naps are memories. I love naps. For 5-star backyards and the most memorable experiences, Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. If it doesn't have that yellow tag, you don't want it.
Eagle Nation, this is Danny Reed reminding you to catch a new edition of the Inside Eagle Nation podcast every Tuesday on gseagles.com and the Varsity Network app. We'll catch you up on the week that was and preview the week that will be. We've got stories, we've got history, we've got everything you love about Georgia Southern athletics, all on the Inside Eagle Nation podcast. That's every Tuesday on gseagles.com and the Varsity Network app, covering all things blue and white. Tune in each Tuesday for Inside Eagle Nation.
The passion.
He's going to take it to the house. Go get touchdown.
The fury.
There was flames on that ball.
Speed.
35, 40, there he goes.
College football.
For the end zone. Got it for 6 points. You cannot hitch the wagon. Put the ponies in the bars. 30, 20.
This is the College Football Bliss. Listen all season long on College Sports Now on the Varsity Network.
Hey fans, this is Wayne Cook, co-host of College Sports Now. We're breaking down all the action from around the country every week during the football season. We'll look beyond the box score and keep our finger on the pulse of college football from September all the way to the national championship game in January. Listen all season long on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you'd love to get your podcasts. And be sure to follow along on Twitter at CSNowTweets.
This is Hail Southern Live, powered by Learfield, live at Wild Wing Cafe in Statesboro. Here's Danny Reed.
Great stuff this week so far from Tracy Head. Chance Gamble just joined us talking about his relationship with the Eagle Nation Collective, beating Georgia State and also taking on Marshall Saturday for the first ever organized whiteout. It's also Hall of Fame weekend and Tackling for a Cure. 8 o'clock kickoff from Statesboro. It'll be on ESPNU broadcast on the Georgia Southern Sports Network. Will start at 6 p.m. Coach, earlier today it came up about Marshall. 3-2 record. They got their victory to start conference play against App State and Huntington last weekend. You mentioned the 2-game winning streak. Both of those are at home. They come to Statesboro for the second time since joining the conference. Two teams that really aren't separated by all that much.
No, two similar football teams. I think when you look at what Coach Huff has done, very impressive football team. And I think they're like us, too. They took on a non-conference schedule that really strengthened them and hardened them for conference play. And you look up, they get a huge win against Western Michigan, then back that up with conference play with App State and do what they did last week. They're riding high. They started a new quarterback last week that really had a tremendous game in Braxton, not only being the leading rusher, but I thought was very efficient in the passing game, created with his legs. Also, defensively, they always do what they do. They get turnovers, and they get off the field on third down, 30% efficient for opposing offenses, and they're +4 in the turnover margin right now. So huge challenge for us. You got two good teams that are both undefeated in conference that'll be fighting on the eastern side, on Saturday.
As Stone Earl had been the starting quarterback each of the first 4 games, Coach Huff said post-game after App State that he wanted to throw a curveball by going with Braylon Braxton, who had just transferred into the program from Tulsa. He arrived in January. He had played in a couple of games, but this was his first start. He accounts for 5 touchdowns. He was named the Conference Offensive Player of the Week earlier today. But when you have a guy that started 4 games and someone that just stepped in, how do you structure the way you prepare for a team like that?
Yeah, but, with both kids, they stayed balanced. No Coach Daggy, their offensive coordinator. Sure. Coach Oath is obviously a great offensive mind. You have a group that's really trying to promote balance. They're a bunch that was running for over 200 yards a game and trying to help a quarterback out with a good run game, and they've been efficient in the pass game. So I thought they ran it a little bit more than they had in the first 4 games, but still were very efficient in the pass game. So I don't see a ton. Both are athletic quarterbacks. Braxton's probably a little bit more athletic.
Sure.
They were probably just a hair more pass heavy, with Stone. But we'll see who comes out and who gets going. But both quarterbacks want the same game plan.
Yeah, they complete only 8 passes versus App State, but 3 of those go for touchdowns to speak to efficiency. And if you want to look at them from a running back standpoint, They lost Rasheen Ali from last year. I'm sure the league is very happy about that. He's now a Baltimore Raven. But the guy that has stepped in that had barely touched the ball the first 2 years, A.J. Turner, already has 3 carries this year of at least 65 yards.
Yeah, he's extremely explosive. You got to get him on the ground or he can go the distance. And it's going to be ultra important for us to hopefully do what we did last week, be really good at stopping the run, on early downs and try to get you in some third and longs where we can let our pass rushers, be effective and hopefully create some unforced errors.
Yeah, that's a team that's only turned the ball over twice over their first 5 games of the season, so I'm sure third and long would help. But what other ways can you make that offense uncomfortable so you can potentially get them into some turnover spots?
Yeah, I've always thought with ball control offenses, you want to start fast. You want to have the availability to put them in an uncomfortable position and hopefully get up in a game early where, when they get to play from ahead and they get to stay in that ball control offense, it makes it tough. And they're great at protecting the football. And so, I think just as much as our defense needs to have a great outing, our offense does. Our offense needs to hold on the ball, make sure we don't turn it over, make sure we've got great third down efficiency, make sure we're finishing our drives, finishing plays, finishing drives, finishing the game. That's going to be ultra important in this one.
Phil Steele said before the season that this defensive line was not going to be one of the best in the Sun Belt. It was going to be one of the best in the country. Yeah. They have already recorded 14 sacks. Mike Green, their defensive end transfer from Virginia, he has 7 of those already. He leads the league. That's number 3 in the country. How much more mindful do you have to be of someone that's been so successful so far?
Yeah, Mike is probably one of the first guys that we've had this year that you actually game plan for.
Okay.
You know where he's at on the field. You have to be able to, because he can wreak havoc. He can create turnovers by himself. You saw it at the highest level when they played Ohio State, getting to their quarterback on several occasions and creating not only sacks but hits on the quarterback. So it's something that you game plan hard to make sure that you keep JC upright, and we'll have to do some special things in order to, hopefully, I don't know if you can stop Mike, but you need to try to slow him down as the best you can.
It's a big week in the conference. JMU and Coastal are going to play on Thursday in Huntington, so depending on how that goes, Marshall, Georgia Southern could be for first in the East. Where this team is, being at this spot in the season, this representing the halfway point, how would you classify this game?
Yeah, it's coaching cliche, I know, but it's the next one. And I think in this league, you have to so focus and make sure that each game's like the Super Bowl, because it may be the difference in winning the league and putting yourself in a position to contend for the championship or being out of it. And so that's what the approach we took last week was to work as hard as we can just to go 1-0 on the week, and that's what we're doing this week with Marshall.
Coach, best of luck getting to 1-0 and 2-0 in conference play.
Danny, thank you so much. I appreciate you, buddy. Hail Southern.
That's head coach Clay Helton, Eagle Nation. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff on Saturday at Paulson, the first ever organized whiteout. It's Georgia Southern versus Marshall. Eagles looking to start conference play 2-0 for the first time since 2018. You've been listening to Hail Southern Live on the Georgia Southern Sports Network, powered by Learfield.
On the Georgia Southern